Can Las Vegas finally put an end to the Panthers' amazing run?
Changing here. McDavid, beautiful move. Front back the ball, coming to Crosby. He scores! Crosby, 500! Watch this play between the legs, comes right back to him.
But man, oh man, has his kid got some hands.
Between the net, it looks like he's going for the old Michigan. He brings it up. Miller goes to knock it off. He shoots it in front.
Oh, what a pass!
Away, gains the zone around Kubalik. Back to Foligno. He scores! A lot of mustard on it.
Ovechkin score! The Grade 8 Express pulls into third place all time.
This is the Pucked Up Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of Pucked Up Podcast. This week we have a special guest.
We do.
The one and only. You've heard his voice without knowing who he was. But Dave Levels Up is here with us today.
Indeed.
We're forcing
This
him
is
to talk
the
about
Pucked Up
hockey.
Podcast.
There it is.
There it is. So if you've ever wondered whose voice that is, it is Dave. He also is the producer for Double D Estrogen Power Hour and one of the three hosts on
Less Than Normal.
Less Than Normal. I was just going to say LTN, and then I was like, but that doesn't make sense.
Which
Yeah.
is, if you guys
And,
are just
you
now
know,
gathering, that is what LTN Media stands for.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We talk about,
We forget that people don't know that.
it's
all
so
the time.
great to see the mind blowing. I just love the fact that we have all four members of LTN's senior staff here today.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. We are the four senior staff members.
absolutely.
I promise I'll stop eating pineapple.
Oh, you're fine. Dude, I got a whole
There's
thing of
pineapple. You should bring me some.
No.
No.
It's mine.
No.
No.
There's another can upstairs in the pantry. I found this one all on my own.
Yeah, but the other one's gonna be for pizza.
Oh, whoops.
That
Oh,
sucks, huh? Maybe you should
Yeah.
like get
just
another
like,
one.
that's a really big bummer for you.
Sucks to
That was
suck.
the point. We should still make pizza tonight, though, because that sounds
We
amazing.
should.
All right, why
Yeah,
don't we
but
get back to hockey, which Dave
Yeah,
knows
let's-
nothing about, which will be the fun bit for
Yeah.
this.
So
I-
Dave is here. Dave does know some things about hockey, but Dave is very good at statistically analyzing some things. And
Right.
while being that I am in a very committed, loving relationship with him, I was the first one to be very happy to tell him he was wrong on his initial pick for who was going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, I love you. But
Hey, Dave.
Okay, but to be fair, that initial pick was what, 2 or 3
oh
weeks
yeah,
into
no,
the
that was like
season?
at
Yeah.
the beginning of the season.
they made it how
And
far?
Edmonton went pretty fucking
Yeah,
far.
Edmonton,
So
second round of the
you
playoffs. Yeah.
you weren't far
Oh.
off.
And they had just the best season of anybody almost ever.
Well, Connor McDavid
No.
had.
Connor McDavid did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Connor
Edmonton as a
McDavid
whole-
had like the best season of almost anybody ever.
Yeah,
for
that is
sure.
that is
Yeah.
fair.
Right.
That is
Right.
yeah.
No, but the rest of the team is holding them back.
They had
I don't
3
know.
players above 100 points, and they
Yeah.
fucking couldn't get it done. That's
Yeah.
Something's
a
got to
lot-
change
Just
in
that part.
Edmonton.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things I think will change everywhere.
You know what my favorite
But-
thing to do with people who don't watch hockey regularly is to
What?
ask them what like terms of the sport are.
Yes.
So Dave,
Oh,
what do you
yeah.
think icing is?
Icing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the shit we put on cake, right?
No, the
Correct.
actual there's
Okay.
it's a
Sorry,
yeah.
we were talking about cake earlier.
You were in
We were
pie.
talking about cake earlier.
Yeah.
No, so I would imagine icing would be intentionally stopping in a way that throws ice onto the surface,
actually
making
not
it
a-
rough,
Not
which
bad.
could
Not
cause
a bad
hazardous
thought.
terrain
Yeah.
for other skaters.
That's not a bad guess at
close,
all.
Not a
Unfortunately.
bad thought. Not close
That's
at
what I
all,
would have assumed
but-
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, but no, that's a good
Okay.
thought because you'd think that would be a distraction and potentially dangerous. And
Oh no,
as
I've
much as
I've
we
had
love
people
when
stop
they do
like
it.
that in front of me, and then my
Yeah.
skates just kind of get stick, and I fall on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know how to ice skate, by the way. Um,
Yeah,
I grew up
Do you
in the
wanna-
Midwest. I think most of us do.
yeah.
Do you want to know what icing actually is?
It's not what happens to Debbie in Dallas, is it?
No.
No.
Okay.
It is when you are in your defensive zone and to try and get the puck away from the other team's offense, you shoot it all the way to your offensive zone when there are no players present to receive the puck. It's like the
Yeah.
easiest way to explain it.
And a lot of it's just
Oh.
killing time. So they actually made it a
so-
rule.
It's like keep away.
It's called icing because you're just throwing it out into the ice. You're
Yeah.
icing the
Yeah,
puck.
you're just
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and also
Okay.
because you've cooled it down. Any hot streak, any momentum they've built up, you've now iced the puck. It's cold.
Yeah.
There
it has to
is
reset.
there's also a story behind the actual like icing rule being put in place. It was a game I think between the Rangers and the Bruins in like the 50s, and they just kept shooting it down the ice, pissing each other off, eventually causing a big fight. Now if you ice the puck, the play is stopped, and the team that ices the puck, they have to take a face-off in their defensive zone. So
Right,
any sort of
right.
advantage they would have had automatically gets reverted back.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's essentially like in football, Dave, if there's a penalty and they say like replay first down, basically the same principle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm far more familiar with football than I am hockey.
I don't even want to get into
Um,
talking about
But you-
forechecking and back checking with Dave.
No.
I know. Usually I just do icing because that's the most
It's
fun
the
one.
common
But there
one,
are
yeah.
so many terms, that are a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember
Dave's thinking
my-
about it now. I can see the gears turning.
That's more of like a player type like actual
Mhm.
thing in the game, yeah. Strategic pieces.
Yeah.
I just remember my AP chemistry teacher in high school when he found out I was a hockey fan because I wore like a jersey to school. And he asked if I was really a hockey fan, and I was like, well, yeah, I've been watching it my whole life. And he goes, well, really? Well, tell me what offsides means. So, Dave, tell me what offsides is.
So offsides would be, I'm assuming, the same as in football. Before the play is officially started, you move beyond some sort of imaginary line of, hey, don't cross this, or you're in a space you're not supposed to be, and you are off your side.
That's
You were super close.
yeah, it's very close.
Super close.
Because that's what
But-
football is. If
yeah.
you go offsides, you pass the line of scrimmage,
Right.
which is an imaginary line of, hey, don't cross this, or you will be offsides.
Right.
So
Yeah.
in hockey, you can have all players from your team in your offensive zone. What you cannot do, though, is you cannot have someone have already entered the offensive zone, like the restraint line, and pass to them with them already in there.
Yeah.
Now,
so
there are caveats on that because you can do like
Before
a
the
dump and
fu-
chase
yeah.
situation.
So it's like forward
But-
laterals in
Yeah.
football.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Okay.
you cannot be over the offensive zone line before the puck handler can.
Puck. Yeah.
So the puck
Right.
handler has to be over the line first. When you have transition to offense. At that point, once you're in the offensive zone, you're good. But if the puck goes out, all of your
Everyone
players
has to
they have to leave the offensive zone, go into what's more the neutral zone, and then restart with the puck handler going into the offensive zone first.
Right.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what
It's-
other big
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
are there.
It's one of the few sports where all players can be in the offensive zone at the same time. You don't have to withhold any players.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, right, because
Which is
in
fun.
football, only half your players can be on the field at a time, period.
Right.
Right.
Dependent on whether you are on offense or
Offense or
defense,
defense.
because the whole field is an offensive or defensive zone depending on direction of play.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Right.
Ooh, here's a good one. What is a power play?
Oh, I actually know this.
Ooh.
Power play is when a player on the opposing team's in the penalty box.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job.
Mhm.
It's power play because you get an advantage. You have one
the
more
man
player than they
advantage
have.
For
Yep.
the generally 2 minutes, but sometimes 5 or whatever.
Do you know how many
Uh,
games are played in an NHL season?
Which may be changing.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope
so.
I like where it's at.
More hockey.
How
We're
many
gonna end up.
weeks is the season?
Oh shit.
Don't tell him that because
I
that'll give
don't
him
actually
clues.
know.
Let him do his own math in his head.
And we're only talking like how many games
Regular
does one team have to play, not
Yeah.
all the games combined.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's
what is the
very different math
Yeah.
than what
No.
I was
Yeah.
doing.
It's way
How
easier
many
math.
games does one team have to play in a season?
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. It's the same as the NBA.
66.
That's a good guess, but no, higher actually.
Mhm.
Why am I thinking 66 is a number associated with the NBA?
66 is a number associated with the NHL, but that's a famous player.
Yeah.
Well, that's Gretzky, isn't it?
No, he
No.
was 99.
No,
66 was
99.
Mario Lemieux.
Oh.
One of the only
Okay.
players not to record a congratulations video for Ovechkin when he passed him, by the way.
That sounds about right. That
Kinda
man is
is.
still a
Yeah, but he-
competitor.
Oh, Lemieux, you mean that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mario's still a
I thought
competitor.
you were talking about Gretzky. I was like, well, Gretzky did say he was going to try to be there when he broke the next
Yeah.
record.
Yeah,
so-
no.
Oh,
I think,
definitely Lemieux. That
yeah,
doesn't surprise me about Lemieux, though.
no,
Yeah,
Lemieux was
that
like, I'm
man-
not recording
That
this.
man is still a competitor through and through.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You give up yet, Dave?
$87.
You are almost dead on 82.
Okay.
82 games.
82
But there is
games.
talk that it's going to go up to 86, I believe.
Yeah.
There is some talk, the NHL Players Association,
They want to play
so
more.
their union, so to speak, is
Mhm.
advocating for potentially creating a longer season in order to raise the cap space for teams, meaning players can
okay.
get paid more. So that is why they're advocating for it, is
Okay.
because that way they can get more money.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
If it's
Which
if
I'm
it's
actually
to,
okay with
if
that.
it's to raise
Yeah.
cap, I'm here for.
That's
Yeah.
what they're saying, is that it's to raise cap.
Which would
So
make
we'll see
sense.
if that ends up
Yeah.
passing.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Dave, here's the most important question. If you are on this podcast, what is the Stanley Cup?
Stanley is employee 427.
The Stanley Parable.
Stop it.
Sorry, that's the Stanley Parable.
That was
Yeah.
perfect though.
That was
No,
perfect.
so
That
the
was
Stanley Cup
funny.
playoffs are the championship for
Yeah.
the NHL. The Stanley
Mhm.
Cup is the trophy awarded at the end of playoffs to whoever wins.
Also, I would like to say that there is no question that the Stanley Cup is the most beautiful trophy
Oh,
that there
yeah.
is to win. I see
Yeah.
you, Kelsey brothers. I remember you guys talking about this recently. I'm sorry, Travis. I'm sorry, but the Lombardi
Well,
has
not-
nothing on the Stanley Cup.
No.
Okay.
Well, no, because
Time
you
out,
get a
time
new
out.
Lombardi every
Yeah,
year.
the Stanley Cup is the same fucking one
one
they've been
cup.
using the entire
Yeah, that
entirety.
has
Right.
every winning team's
Well, they
names
not
inscribed
at this
into it.
point, not
Well,
anymore.
not
but
Right.
Right.
but
But
yeah,
going back for as long as there is space on the Stanley
Over
Cup,
100
it
seasons.
inscribes the name of the team and all of its players that contributed to winning it.
Mhm.
Yeah. it's a bigger
And
deal.
you get to take it with you for a day. Like each player on the winning
Yeah,
team
each player gets it.
gets it for a day. So in the off season, they get to bring it to their hometown and do stuff with it. So you see a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
People throw keggers with the Stanley Cup.
I was gonna
Other
say,
people
take it to
please
children's
tell me
hospitals.
people drink out of the fucking
Oh,
thing.
all the time. They
Oh.
actually
That's
just
a cup.
Somebody
They
had
actually
his
had to ban
baby
it
baptized in
after.
it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
they had to ban keg
They had to
stands.
ban it after my team had it the last time in 2018.
They were just
because
doing
we were doing
keg
so many
stands.
keg stands out of the Stanley Cup. Like it's an actual cup. The top of it is
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they were doing
Right.
so many keg stands out of it that they actually bent the rim of the cup, and they're like, "We can't keep fixing this. You need to knock it off."
The trophy's
So they
so
banned
old.
keg
They're like, you
stands.
can't do keg stands.
Yeah.
Also, no disrespect. Shout out to Travis Kelsey. Congrats on winning the Super Bowl. You guys are
Yeah,
awesome.
they worked hard for it.
Yeah.
They
Well,
did.
It's nice to know, Dave, you're learning something on this podcast
Yeah.
today. You're actually going to learn a lot. So.
Absolutely. And I did not mean to divert us from our super
No,
important
that
task
was
of
fun.
updating on how the playoffs went. So that's a good
Right.
segue, Chris.
Mm,
He was like, "I planned that."
indeed.
Right?
That's broadcasting degree. Mm.
Well, fuck the other guys. We got the Knights and the Panthers.
We do. We have
do.
the Vegas Golden Knights who won the Western Conference Finals in 6 games over the Dallas Stars. And continuing this wild Cinderella story, the Florida Panthers swept the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals. You guys,
Insane. The only sweep of this series, by the way.
not only that, if you look at how close the series was, you're talking about the team that I picked on the Eastern Conference to go to the Stanley Cup in the Hurricanes, and D, you predicted them to win it all.
Yeah.
So like they were no joke, especially missing Svechnikov and Pacioretty.
Oh, yeah.
Like they were still white hot.
Yep.
The Western Conference Finals was a tale of some of the same, except for the fact that in game 3 and 6, man, you want to talk about a banger of a finale?
Right.
Vegas won 6-0 in game 6 to solidify it. They put up 3 in the first period. I was like, wow. So I got to give a shout out to.
It's like me and you were talking before the show, though. The Golden Knights have been very consistent all season.
Yeah.
Consistent defense, consistent offense. They press advantage when they have it, and they know when to rally the horses.
Yeah, and a lot of it's been surprising considering they have been riddled with injuries all season.
Absolutely.
And
and
the consistency, like Dave mentioned, has been huge. Like, look at right now, they have Leonard hasn't played at all this season. Logan Thompson's been their guy all year, but he's been out. He'll probably see him next weekend.
Maybe.
Laurent Brossoit has been injured too, so it's really been up to Aiden Hill to be their guy. And I'll tell you what, he has been friggin' impressive. He has a 2.07 goals against average. He leads the playoffs in a 0.937 save percentage. And he has 2 shutouts.
Yeah.
You know,
crazy
for a team,
because the entire team seems to just step the fuck up. Oh, there's a gap we need to fill in, guys.
Yeah.
It's time to step the fuck up.
And defense is important too in that aspect, and their defense has been like they've been the class of the field,
5th or 6th,
something like that. Yeah.
In the league in defense.
Oh yeah.
So no, it's been real good. They've been doing a good job with all things considered, with the injuries that they've had.
We've had entertaining hockey for sure.
The games have been great.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, the first 4 games of the conference finals, both East and West, went to overtime.
Right.
Including the first game, which is a 4.
4 OTs, which is insane.
I know. That was wild, because Dee and I were watching it. We're like, just let this end. I don't care who scores.
You're
someone.
Like, please, I just want to fucking go to bed, dude.
And then Matthew Tkachuk buried one.
Yeah.
Right.
That's 2 hours and 20 minutes of hockey.
Yeah.
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 It's a lot of fucking hockey.
That's a lot of fucking
It was
hockey.
like top 10 longest games all time.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I don't watch hockey. I look at stats.
Yeah.
Right? The stats are the interesting part of most sports to me, if I'm going to be invested in that sport at all.
Right.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Because the stats tell the story.
Yeah.
You know, I might not see the action, but I can see, and Chris, you remember what I told you was going to happen because somebody was favoring a leg at the beginning of the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, they lost, but he doesn't have an injury. He just was keen on. He's the best player in the NHL. Everyone's going to try to get,
Yeah.
Right, but he wasn't playing at capacity because there was something going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And I called that from stats.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking at his numbers in particular.
But the interesting thing is, I think a lot of people are favoring the Panthers here.
Rightfully so.
I'm not.
For sure. Chris, would you mind basically we know who it's down to, but Did you want to say anything else about the bracket update?
I mean, I want to give love real quick to the two teams that lost in the conference finals. Dallas played really well.
don't.
Well, of course, yeah, you don't. Dallas did.
Dallas,
They
man.
played real well. Jason Robertson showed this year
Yeah,
he was a
Robertson.
monster. Jake
Yeah.
Ottinger might be the second hottest goalie in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, besides Linus Olmark.
Right.
Dallas made it farther than a lot of people thought. Also,
Right.
big ups to the Carolina Hurricanes. They played the majority, if not all, of the playoffs without Svetch, who's one of their
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah.
pieces, and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
they like obviously showed up big time against New Jersey, but they only beat the Islanders in 6, and the Islanders gave them a hard time.
Yeah. No, they absolutely did.
Overall, like I said before we're recording, I was like, I keep looking at this bracket and I just like, it's astonishing to me what we've seen. We saw 2 number ones get upset by wild cards in the first round. We saw teams getting swept that we didn't expect to get swept. We saw physical hockey. We've seen low scoring games. I couldn't have asked for more. Like, this is such
absolutely.
a win for the NHL, and we've got a new, still a
Possibly 7 more
relatively
games to
new,
go.
still relatively new team with a smaller market team as your face off, and that's a huge win for the NHL as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vegas, this is their 6th season.
yeah.
So they really haven't been around that long. And Florida is overrun with teams, not as bad as Florida, or not as bad as New York, but you do have the Tampa Bay Lightnings and the Florida Panthers. And the
Yeah.
Lightning are a bigger and frankly better team.
They made
Yeah.
they made the cup the last 3 years in a row. They won
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yep.
So yeah, no, this is I'm really happy for the Panthers fans, and I'm really happy for Golden Knights fans. Like, this is a hell of a matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a great series for sure. So then, yeah, what do we each think who's going to take it? D, let's start with you.
I mean, this is one of those things where they both are having a Cinderella story moment, right?
Mhm.
You have Vegas, who's only been in it for 6 years. They had their chance in their inaugural season, or second season, I guess it was, in 2018 to win the cup, but they got bested by the
Yeah, it
Washington
was their
Capitals.
first year.
Right.
They
It
would have
was
been
their
the
first year.
They would have been the first team
Um,
since the Avalanche did it to win in their first season.
Yeah, so that would have been cool, but like, sucks for them. They didn't have what
Right.
it takes. So like, this would be a cool moment for them still. To win a cup within your first decade of being a team is impressive no matter what. But then you have the Florida Panthers, who could not get their shit together enough during the season to solidify an actual spot and had to go in as a wild card entry. And then they had an incredible run against the single best team in the league,
Right.
as is touted by numbers. And then
Yeah.
continue to just dominate from there. And so to see a wild card potentially take it, that's that underdog story that everyone knows and loves. So I think no matter what, whoever wins, it's a good outcome.
Yeah.
I think if I'm talking about who I foresee as the winner, I just think that the Panthers have shown that they want it more. I think Vegas has done incredibly well, but they've done well against weaker teams. I mean, we're talking about they played the
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets, who was a wild card entry and honestly a fucking long shot.
Yeah.
They played the Oilers, which that went to 6 games. Excuse me, but
That
we
was
all
their
knew
biggest
the
test,
Oilers were
too.
going to lose.
That was arguably the biggest test out of all of this.
Agreed.
Was the
But I
Oilers.
think we all knew, I mean, except for Dave, we all knew that the Oilers weren't making it to the cup. Just because they have what it takes from 3 people on their roster,
Yeah.
but they're missing some special element, and they need to figure that out. And then the series with Dallas, honestly, Dallas had 2 fluke wins with Jamie Benn sitting out. I don't know if like the vibes in the locker room finally matched up and they were able to get those 2 wins. But if in terms of actually watching those games, I think Dallas was an easy team for them.
Yeah.
And at similar levels, I would say, truthfully, to when they played the Jets and I guess the Oilers too, if we're looking at the numbers of it all. So I think even though Vegas wants it, I think Florida wants it just a little bit more, and I think that they have the roster to get that done. And they also have
Yeah.
the coaching talent to get that done. Their coach has created a system that works for the players on the team and is not a system that works for the coaches. What we see in so many teams where the coaches have a system that is hard and inflexible, and so it doesn't fit to who they have on their roster. And I think that Florida, for once, was able to tip that scales in just the right way, where they have a system that works for their players that has flexed with the players that they have.
Right.
So that's my guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. Do you want me to go
Chris?
next? All right.
Yeah.
This is tough. This is really tough because
Yeah.
these are two right now juggernauts, and they, laying havoc in their wake. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to pick. I'm about to upset some people. I want to apologize to my best friend. Love you, Brandy. I love the city of Las Vegas, but I am all aboard, choo-choo, all aboard the fucking Panthers train. I haven't picked them at all in this playoffs, and
Yeah.
I'm changing that, and I'm picking them to bring home the first franchise Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Dave.
Chris,
kind
I
of
hate to
alluded
tell
to
you,
it.
but if you haven't picked the Panthers at all, you're still going to be wrong, and you're going to be 0-4 on that Panther train.
Oh,
Look.
interesting.
Look, the Knights are going to take it, and here's why. They have a very, very stable player base. They have shown time and time again through the season that they can fill in ranks and continue playing at the same level regardless. There are a few key players on the Panthers team that if anything goes wrong, their game is arguably gone, right? They are
Right.
no longer a team playing at that level.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And
That's very
that's
fair.
a big fucking thing, especially when you consider we start with Las Vegas having a home team advantage for 2 games, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to Florida and it's 3 days until their next game, I believe.
Yeah.
So the Knights are going to have a hard time in game 3 because it's a lot more humid in Florida than it is in the middle of the fucking desert.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like the guys who call Florida home will acclimatize a little faster.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you're looking at pressing 2 or 3 guys how many games at their limit, dealing with games back to back, and when they're not back to back, they're dealing with pretty significant climate changes in their off time.
Yeah.
You have to account for fatigue.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I do like that they've given each team 3 days in between travel to at least have a couple days to get time zone adjustment, because jet lag's a bitch.
Well, not to mention, like I said, it's so much more humid in Florida
Oh,
than
yeah,
it is in the
in-
middle of the desert.
Yeah, Vegas is very dry. Vegas is very dry.
No, but I think at the end of the day, they're going to take it because they have that consistency. As players feel fatigue, they have a roster that they can rotate out.
Yeah.
Their shining stars have understudies that perform basically at the same level as they do.
Yeah.
The Panthers lack that, and I think that's what's going to screw them. They don't have. They have their A team, and then they have like a C team that comes in. They don't have anybody playing at that level to replace their A-list guys.
I don't know. Panthers have some big names on their team that I mean are all in good health. So barring, any crazy intentional takeouts, I don't think we're going to see anything too
okay, but
surprising.
I'm talking the 2 guys that have actually been performing on.
Well, I mean, there are multiple, because Carter Verhaeghe has
Yeah.
15 points, Barkov has 14.
You have the
Um,
Stahl brothers, who I may disagree with
Yeah,
them on a
Sam
lot of things,
Reinhart.
but
Sam
they're done
Reinhart has
well.
11 points.
Mhm.
Sam Bennett has 11. Kachuk has
Barkov,
21.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there
I don't
are a
know.
lot more guys doing stuff, but the bulk of their workload right now in offensive prowess, mainly assists, has been Matthew Kachuk.
Yeah.
12 assists is 12 assists.
Which, I mean, I think he is just taking opportunities. It's one of those things where I think without Kachuk, they still would have done well, but he has just really stepped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look
But
what
it
he did
hasn't
in
prevented the rest of the
Calgary.
team from setting up. Like, for example, Radko Gudas. He played
The
for my team
greatest
several years
beard
ago. He
ever.
kind of stuck up the joint, and now he's come back into his own.
Yeah.
Refs had to ask him to not sit on people anymore during a game.
Yeah, that was so
That was
funny.
funny.
Hilarious.
That was
That
funny.
was so funny.
But he,
Oh God.
it was
That was,
actually
like,
so
favorite
funny because
fucking-
the ref was mic'd up when it happened, and he was
Yep,
like, "Hey man, I really don't like it when you sit on
I
people.
really
I'm
don't
gonna
I
have
don't
to
like
ask."
it when you
sit
sit
on
on
people.
people.
And it
That
was
is
like
so
talking to a 5-year-old, and Radko's
It's
like,
so funny.
it was
It
adorable.
was so
But
fucking
he's been
funny.
doing incredibly well, and that's the side of it too, I think, defensively, that Panthers have a great defense.
They do.
And they have people stepping up. And
Yeah,
defense wins
but-
championships.
Defense does in fact win championships.
Yeah.
But the Knights' defense isn't anything to laugh at either.
No, they've stepped up
No.
in ways
No.
with all their goaltending injuries. You know, they've been
Like
Yeah.
even with all their
Yeah.
goaltending injuries, they're what, 6th in the entire league.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the regular season, they were definitely there in a big way.
Yeah.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Right.
they've come accustomed to being able to adapt to a changing roster, which and you're not even talking about injuries, but like fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
like I have skated for 2.5 hours before without all the heavy fucking pads and gear and other people physically ramming into my body.
Oh yeah.
And that is kind of exhausting in and of itself.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I think
that's where I think the Knights shine is they have guys on rotation that play at the same level. Their
Yeah.
performance is pretty static regardless of who's on ice.
well, and I think what we're gonna see is,
And I think they're going to press advantage when some of the heavy hitters from the other side go off ice.
right.
And I think that's where we're going to see big swings.
I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet special teams is going to play big into this. I mean, if you look at power play
Yeah.
success for Vegas is only 18.5, to where the
Yeah.
Panthers have an almost 28% success rate. Their PK is at 71. So them being on the penalty kill is huge.
Yeah.
Vegas has actually also allowed 2 more goals than the Panthers did. So I'm chalking that up to the obvious workload Aiden Hill has, but special
Yeah.
teams, you got to convert. You have to convert when you have a power
100%.
play opportunity, especially this deep into the playoffs. There are no excuses for sloppy play offensively. There are no excuses for allowing shorthanded goals at this point. This is the playoffs. You're playing for a championship. You know,
Right.
so Vegas if Vegas doesn't step up their game on the power play unit, I think that's going to play a huge factor as well.
Yeah.
That's fair. But that's the one place where they kind of falter, right?
Right.
Like that's the one thing that if they figure that out, game 1, they're unstoppable.
Yeah, they just got to keep making those
Yeah.
right decisions and not have players get frustrated, because we've seen already how many suspensions have we had in the playoffs so far?
Yeah, Vegas has already had Alex Pietrangelo, not Pietrangelo. Who was it that got suspended from Vegas?
It's the other reason a flexible roster.
No, it was
is
Alex
important.
Pietrangelo he got suspended 1 game for slashing Leon Draisaitl. And I
Yeah.
was like, no, it wasn't.
And it was a
Pietrangelo.
blatant slash.
It
too.
was a
like,
blatant
he was
one. So
trying
they
to
have-
hurt Draisaitl.
Yeah, they have a history of letting things get to them. Now, I will say, so the Panthers, because they also got fines when they were playing Boston,
And
for
Kachuk
a
has been
check against
suspended this year too.
Hathaway.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam Bennett for cross-checking Michael Bunting as
Oh
well.
God, and that was
Yeah.
he honestly should have gotten a bigger suspension than he did.
100%.
He
So
definitely
they
one
both
game wasn't
are
enough.
quick to anger. I
Yeah.
will say that.
Oh, no.
However, the only
It's
one that
gonna
was
be
big enough to
great
be a
to
problem
fucking
was
watch.
Pietrangelo.
Oh, fireworks.
Especially if
Yeah.
you're one of those people who watches for the action
Mhm.
and not like the action, but like the side action.
It went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if we look at the roster, they have some names on there too that you're like,
Yeah, there's
They are-
there's some guys you shouldn't fuck with.
yeah, absolutely
On-
not.
On the Knights?
Yeah.
Mhm.
On both
Yeah.
sides. It's yeah.
Well, 100%.
Well, and they're all big fucking guys. Like
yes.
You kind of have
Yes.
to be.
Yeah.
the lightest guy on either team is like 173 pounds, I think.
Which is
Mhm.
yeah.
And the
Something like that.
biggest guy is like 240 something
I don't think quite 240.
or 230 something maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I don't have the
seeing,
stats up anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember.
213 being their biggest. Yeah, I'm seeing 213.
Okay.
On either team?
Sorry, that is just for the Panthers. For Vegas, 218.
218.
Oh no, you're right. There is Nicholas Haig at 230.
I was gonna say
I forgot
because
about
there's
him.
a big fucking dude on one of the sides of that coin.
Yeah, I mean Nicholas Haig though is 6'6" and 230. So when you talk about
Right.
the distribution of that compared to some of the other
Oh
players
no,
who
he's
are
built the same, but his
Yeah.
physical mass is just
is a lot.
he's an enormous man.
Right.
Right.
Like 6'6"
Okay.
is if he wasn't playing hockey, there's a chance he'd
But,
be
like,
playing basketball with those.
When you
guys.
compare that to Phil Kessel, who is the Iron Man of NHL because he's had over 1,000 consecutive games played, like not
Right.
missed for anything, he is 5'11" and 208. So he is also
Right.
Yeah, he's
A
a big
big
boy.
dude.
a
Yeah.
big dude.
Yeah.
He hurts
He's a
you.
solid dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a solid dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's part of me that wants to see them teach football players how to skate and how to play hockey and
Yeah.
watch like 300 plus pound dudes just fucking shred each other on the ice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Danger,
That's
who
a
do you think
sport
is
I
yeah,
gonna
would-
win?
I was just gonna say, Danger, we're all
I
Now that you've heard all of our
yeah.
bullshit.
I want Vegas to win, and y'all know like that's always who I want to win is my first pick.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think like I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers take it, but both teams have an equal opportunity here, in my
Right.
opinion. You know, so it's gonna just be who can pull it out more than the
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
team. You know, at the end of the day, which yes, I know is a no fucking shit bullshit answer, but
Well, it's
But
I
yeah,
mean, it's
I would like to see Vegas take it.
Alright.
from a statistical standpoint though, it really is anyone's game because
Yeah.
and I was talking
Yeah.
to D about this before, but I was splitting hairs
Yeah.
Yeah.
to find an
Yeah.
advantage on one side or the other.
Oh yeah, no,
Right.
they're pretty
Right.
evenly paired,
Yeah.
and I
And-
think it's just gonna be who can get the upper hand for each game, and
Well-
I think it's gonna
Yep.
come down to at least 5, if not a full 7.
I think
Oh yeah.
I think this the thing that tipped me, and I think D noticed this, is the schedule.
Mhm.
They're
Yep.
starting in Vegas,
Yep.
yeah.
then they're going to
To Florida.
Right.
Florida.
To Florida.
It's on
And
So
then
they'll
back,
recover
you
for
know.
game 2 in Florida,
Yeah.
and then they'll go back to Vegas, which they'll recover for more quickly. That's their home turf.
yeah.
Right.
So they'll have an advantage over the Panthers then.
Right.
And that's why my breakdown is 2 games, lose 1 in Florida, win the fourth game in Florida, win the 5th game at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we'll see how that ends up actually shaking out. Because if I remember correctly, the last time they had a Stanley Cup game, they lost their final game at home.
Yeah.
Vegas did. So that home, and that was after
Look
the
at
travel
That
that
back
doesn't mean
and
they'll
forth.
make the
smug
same
little
mistake
look on
again.
Dee's face when she said
Just
that.
Look, I'm just
Just
saying.
saying.
Look,
Sorry,
I'm
not
just
sorry. My
saying,
team won.
I will
The
say, and
stats-
also again to bring up the stats, games 4 and 5 were at home in Vegas. Those are the 2 games that they lost to Dallas in the most recent
Right.
Yeah.
series. So
I'm very interested. I think
right.
regardless,
Climate really wouldn't have been a factor there though, because Dallas and Vegas are, and I'm taking the climate difference into consideration.
Right.
every time, so when they lost to Edmonton, they were playing at home in Vegas
yeah. So they don't have
in
great
the
luck at
second
home.
round.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
They are not
Yeah.
a good playoff team at home.
No, and the one game that they lost to Winnipeg, want to guess where that was?
Was at home.
It was at home in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, then the Knights might be fucked.
The Knights
Yeah.
might be fucked. Yeah, that's fair.
But I do think you were right in that. I mean,
Yeah.
Florida has been consistent for this playoff series.
Yeah.
Vegas
Mhm.
is more consistent on a regular basis.
Right.
And so I think that gives them a slight leg up. But the momentum the Panthers have right
Yeah.
now is just something else.
They're
I mean,
hungry.
they are. They want it real bad. And so
Look,
it's very much.
I think that's what I
I-
said last week, though, because I was like, they're sitting there, and their mantra has been, "Why not us? Why can't we
Yeah.
win this whole thing?" You know?
Look,
100%.
okay, so I'm going to change my prediction.
Oh,
Because they've lost all
Hang
their
on,
games at home.
hang on. No. I think whoever wins game 1 will win.
ooh. I mean, that's a fair.
Okay.
That's a fair shake.
That's fair. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think regardless of wins,
Because if the Knights are able to put down the Panthers' momentum in game 1, it's going to be
Yeah.
so fucking hard
It'll be
for them to
disruptive.
build that back up.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because the Panthers have won how many in a row now?
they have
10 out of their last 11.
10,
or
yeah.
something.
They have
something
not
like that.
lost. They have not lost since May 10th.
Okay.
They have won 5
yeah,
straight
they've
games,
got quite the
including
momentum.
yeah,
So yeah,
okay.
yeah.
if Vegas can beat them, and
Because-
Vegas always does a little bit. I mean, not
Yeah.
always, because we did just talk about
Yeah.
it, but every team does a little bit better when they play at home in front of the home crowd, and especially in playoff home crowd.
Well, yeah. Not just playoff home crowd, but championship cup home
Yeah.
crowd. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like, it's
yeah.
different, the atmosphere of when they were playing Winnipeg at home as to now
Yeah.
when this is the potential start of their cup victory.
And if you
You know what I
if you
mean?
put into full perspective, the Panthers have won 8 of their last 9 games. I'm sorry, 9 of the last
Yeah.
10. If you
Yeah.
count going all the way back to game 7 of the
Yep.
first round.
Yeah.
9 of their last 10 or 10
Yeah.
of the last 11. That is fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's- it's
that
insane.
level of that is white hot on another level, especially when you're a wild card team. Like
But-
they're
Right.
good, but I
But
said
Dave is
all
absolutely
year,
right
yeah,
that
he's very
if
right.
Vegas puts them down that first round,
That's
that
going to change
might be
momentum.
insurmountable stumbling block.
Yeah.
That's when we find
Because
out
when you
what
are that
Panther-
hot, it's like, I don't know if you
Yeah.
can regain that, if you can regather.
Well, that's when we find
Right.
out what the Panthers are really made of.
Right.
You know, and that'll be the real test on how
See,
good
but
this team
the
actually
problem
is.
the problem is they've been saying why not us, but if all you're made out of is hopes and dreams and not firmer stuff, you can't rebuild that.
I mean, it worked for the Blues in like 2019.
Well,
But they were the second. They were the worst team in the NHL at the All-Star break and came back and won the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
and
Sometimes all
recently
you need is a
for
little hope and dream.
lacrosse, Notre Dame, they got their first ever men's lacrosse
They did.
title for championship. An incredible game. Oh my god, I loved it. But their whole thing this whole season was they had a chance to win it last year and they just didn't have what it takes.
Mm.
So they put up last year's bracket in their
Yeah.
locker room, and that was their why not us. They were like,
Yeah.
we could have done it last year. What's
Yeah.
different? We could have done this last year. What's different? And they played incredibly well.
They beat
So
the hell
sometimes the why not us
physically
is
and
mentality
mentally
is
out
good.
of fucking Duke.
Oh
So-
no, and I agree,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if that's all you have is a why not us, and you
Right.
hit that block where someone just puts you fucking
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I can see both sides of the coin as a former athlete, and D, I know you can
Right.
attest to this too. It's sometimes all you need is that belief in yourself, and no matter how
Yeah.
many games you lose, you make sure you win it all. And then there are times where you are on a roll and momentum, and then you just hit that brick wall, and it's like, shit, can we get back to this? And then you get that self doubt, and that happens. Both sides of the coin happen to everyone.
Oh
It's
yeah,
interesting,
because you can
too.
get hit with, you can go the why not us, and you can hit that wall and go, oh, this is why. Fuck. You know what
So-
I mean? Like that's a real feeling that you have in competitive anything.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
There is a storied history in hockey with superstitions surrounding being the one to win the President's Trophy, like the Bruins did, and they fucked up their season, or the conference, winning that
Yeah.
conference title, touching the trophy afterwards.
it
Some
or
people
not
think it gives
touching
you
it.
bad luck. However, the Panthers were like, no, fuck it. This might be our only time to celebrate. We might just be celebrating a conference final. We're going to take the
Right.
time to celebrate our wins.
Although the
I think
last
that too is
the
an
last three
important mindset to
champions have touched the
Yeah.
that have touched the trophy. The last three
Yeah.
champions. So I mean, right now, I guess touch that shit.
do it. Yeah. This might be the breaking of that superstition. We don't
It
know.
might be.
Right.
It might be.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
They,
Very fair.
I don't know. They're gonna be good games to watch. I don't think we're gonna get
100%.
more than 5 games.
Wow, that's a
I
bold
hope we do.
prediction.
I hope you do too, because it's gonna be good hockey to watch. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like I said, this first game is really the deciding point.
Yeah.
Yeah. in a lot of
I
ways.
think I would be shocked if the series doesn't go 7. I would be
I
utterly
think it's
shocked.
going to go 6.
Utterly shocked.
I'm going to say
I-
6.
I
Decided
wouldn't be
in
blown
6.
away by 6, but I would put money against it being 7.
Yeah. All right. I mean,
Well, one of us will be right.
yeah.
Danger, do you think it's going to be a sweep? And then we have the full gambit?
I don't think it'll be a sweep.
I don't
No,
think
Oh
so.
God, no.
I don't think it'll
God,
be a sweep.
these teams are too evenly matched.
I
for
mean,
Could you
we
imagine,
we
though,
did
if
say
one
that-
of them does a sweep?
That would be-
Holy shit.
We did say that last week, and
We did say
Well,
that last week.
in the
Okay,
or like the
and
last
that's what
prediction,
happened.
and Carolina got
Mhm.
swept. So
Time out,
Yeah.
time out. Okay, I will say that if the Knights get a shutout their first game, it very well could be a sweep, because that would be like, oh, you killed our
That would be
momentum and then you
soul-breaking.
kicked us when we
Yeah.
were fucking
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
fair.
then we might see a sweep. Like under that condition, that might be just enough to
Right.
break the
That
Panthers'
could be
spirit.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
completely.
if Vegas comes out and does what they did to Dallas in the last game and just drop like fucking 4 on them in the first period,
Yeah.
yeah, that might put a
That might
huge
rattle some
dent
stuff.
in
Yeah.
Right.
Florida's confidence. But I with the way Bob
I
is
don't see
playing
that
in net,
happening with
yeah,
the
I
way
don't
they're
see
all
that
playing.
happening. Bob is on
But-
fire in net for Florida. I can't see them just willy-nilly dropping 4 like that.
I mean,
You know.
but even if it's 1-0
yeah.
Yeah.
or 2-0,
I'd
that
rather
would be
lose-
So,
crushing.
I would rather get my ass kicked than lose a close game, though.
So to recap, though, we have Chris saying Florida in 7.
Mhm.
I'm saying Florida in 6. Dave is saying Vegas in 5. Danger, what are you predicting?
I'm saying whatever team wins the first game in
That's a cop out. That's a cop out.
That's such a
You
cop
got to
out.
make a pick.
I think it'll be Vegas.
Okay.
But
Okay.
just know that in my opinion, whatever team wins
This
the
is him
first game just
protecting
takes it in
himself
5.
from being
yeah, he's
wrong.
he's
That's
covering
fine.
his own ass. Dave's
Yeah.
picking
Yeah.
Vegas in 5.
Vegas in 5.
I'm gonna say Vegas in 5.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna agree with Dave.
Okay.
Interesting.
Maybe 6, but
I like
you
that
know.
it's divided 50-50 here.
No,
Or maybe
and
I
I
do
could
too.
see
I do too.
and I could 100% see 6 games. Like these
Yeah.
are very even teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the Knights can pull it out and shut down the momentum that the Panthers have, I think the Panthers will be able to pull a game out of their ass and pull out one win near the
Mhm.
very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the beauty
Yeah,
of
I mean,
playoff hockey,
it'll
though?
be
Expect the unexpected.
I mean,
always.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, it's like that year that the Yankees and the Red Sox were in the playoffs, and that hadn't happened in a while. And the Red Sox are not in the play or in the series or whatever. you like to go to the series. The Yankees and the Red Sox are in a playoff.
Oh,
and that hadn't
in
happened for a while.
04 when the
Yeah.
Yankees blew a 3-0 series lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah,
reminding
the Red
me,
Sox,
Dave.
and then the Red Sox just went, oh, by the way, this is how we play in Boston, bitch.
Oh yeah, that fight
Fucking
was nuts.
brought the big boy bats.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, I remember that series. Thanks for bringing up painful memories, Dave.
And then Boston went off.
Well, they won the
and
World Series.
ran away with the
Yeah.
World Series.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yep.
just like, hey, we fucked up the Yankees. Come at us.
Right.
Our dicks are
Yeah.
the biggest in town right now.
Basically.
Not everything is
Oh.
always about dick size, Dave.
That was a
No.
good year for me.
That was a good year for me.
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
It had been a bad year for me my whole life up to that point.
My whole life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Am I wrong?
I'm feeling that
Am
right
I
now.
wrong?
Yankees haven't won a World Series since 09, so I'm itching right now. I'm like, y'all need to figure that shit out.
Yeah, talk to me when it's been since the 90s, okay?
Yeah.
I don't have
Thanks.
to. I don't have to. I could just
You're
say
right,
it's been
you
like
don't have to
a
talk
few.
to me.
Ooh.
All right, I guess it means it's time for my segment because everyone else is shutting up.
Sorry, that was just too good to
No,
leave
that was
alone.
really funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the few things that we have to update is coaching stuff, which is what Dee has for us next.
Yeah, we actually do have a couple of updates. So I'm going to start off with some of the stuff that's like rumored to be almost done.
Sure.
So the next frontrunner for the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs is Brad Treliving. He is basically, I think the contract is all but signed.
Yeah, see, that was
Yeah.
just announced too. Like
It was just announced.
literally,
Also
I put
just
that in a few minutes
announced
ago.
that the Penguins are officially set to hire general manager Kyle Dubas.
Fuck
So-
yeah!
Okay.
All right, awesome.
That
This who we
is
thought, right?
likely.
Yeah.
That is what Chris was saying. He wanted the Penguins to see if they could pick him up, and it sounds likely.
Hell yeah!
Um,
That's a huge move
that-
for the
that's what
Penguins.
happened.
That's a big
Yeah.
step in the right direction for that organization. They're gonna get younger, and that's what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he met with Captain Sidney Crosby earlier this month.
Okay.
So I think if you have Sid's buy-in,
Yeah, if Sid
being
trusts
that he
you,
is the captain,
yeah, if Sid
yeah, I
trusts
think-
you, that's the best move.
I think that's all but tied up. The next is, I think we had already discussed that Barry Trotz is the new GM for the Nashville Predators.
Which yeah.
Which I think we had briefly touched on it, but now the news is that Andrew Bruno, as some of us like to call
Love
him,
Bruno.
will be the new head coach. Which, funnily
We don't
enough,
talk
I
about
did
Bruno.
find out that the
I
first
talk
ever
about Bruno.
coach, the first ever coach of the Nashville Predators was Barry Trotz,
Yeah.
and
Which
the
is
guy who
crazy.
scored the first ever goal was Andrew Brunette.
No
Yeah.
shit.
So that is who is stepping
Which
in.
is awesome.
That's a really cool moment of history, I think, to include someone like that. And then last, because saving the best for last, the Washington Capitals have officially announced that Spencer Carberry is going to be the team's head coach. It will be a contract for 4 years, so it'll go through the 26-27 leadership. Notably, Carberry was the head coach with the Hershey Bears for a number of years, won an award for being the best head coach in the AHL during his time in Hershey. He was also the head coach for the ECHL team, the South Carolina Stingrays, also an affiliate of the Capitals organization. But most notably, he was an assistant coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who we all know recently just had a second round exit in the Stanley
Right.
Cup finals.
Mm.
So he has a lot of good things going for him. He is a young coach, which I am
Mhm.
excited about. He's also a coach that has particular excellence with special teams.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that clearly we have fucking needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I am really excited about Carberry joining on. He did help when the Stingrays win the Kelly Cup in 2009 as well, by the way. I
Right.
forgot to say that. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And as we get more coaching updates, we'll let you guys know. But those were the big names that hit the market
You know,
here this week.
I don't think we touched on the Flyers changes last week. or a week. It's been like a week or two. I don't think we touched on. Daniel Briere is the new new GM for the Flyers, which is fitting. He's a
You're right, I don't think we did
Flyers
talk about
legend at
that.
this point. And broadcast analyst Keith Jones, who longtime NHL fans will know, is now the president of hockey operations for the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm super happy for Keith Jones and Briere, like both amazing guys.
So that is all we had over in Coach's Corner.
Yeah. I love it. Well, then let's get into the bad boys. And really, it's two Dallas players that ganged up against one Vegas player, and Mark Stone was not having a good night. Back on the 23rd, 24th.
Oh yeah, when he got cross-checked in the face.
So Jamie Benn did a nasty cross-check. Ben did get suspended for 2 games for that cross-check. Tried to, pass it off as, I slipped and fell. My stick happened to, catch him right at throat level.
Yeah.
And it was just a nasty, unacceptable show of force.
I think he should have gotten more than 2 games.
I agree. But I'll take what I can get on it.
Yeah.
I expected. I wouldn't have been surprised if he didn't get anything with the way some of these.
Although
that is fair.
Him having to sit out 2 games was not a penalty to his team, because the only 2 games Dallas won this round was the 2 games he got out.
Yeah.
So where's the fucking penalty?
Right. Yeah. That's very true as well. And then Max Domi also same night got a $5,000 fine for slashing against Mark Stone. So
that one was rough.
That
too.
one I actually didn't catch. I didn't see, but definitely
it had to be bad if it was,
Yeah.
No, it was. It wasn't bad enough that I would have been like, you should have been suspended. But no, he absolutely should have been fined. It was not kosher.
So
it was a blatant one, yeah.
And so for injuries, really there's one new one for Florida. It's Eetu Lastarnian. I can't say that. But he is currently out. It's just probably Saturday. It's an undisclosed ailment. He's expected to play. Syphilis, always.
It's always syphilis.
Expected to play game 1 against the Golden Knights, but who knows if anything will aggravate it more. And then for Vegas, really nothing new, really. Everybody's the same stuff as we've already talked about. So hopefully everybody will stay healthy, because it is one of those where it's like, with how evenly paired the teams are, I want to see everybody stay healthy, because then that's more exciting and more fun.
100%.
I mean, it's harder to say, you beat them at their best when they're missing some of the better players. So
yeah, exactly.
We'll have to see.
There's less pride in it when you're playing an AHL team than when you're playing an NHL team.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, so that's up for our
quick and dirty. I like it.
Yeah, quick and dirty. We now know how D likes it. All right.
Ooh.
Well, the dirty part you're right about. The quick part, I would have to disagree.
Oh my god, that is amazing. So I guess rounding it out, it is time for my favorite segment. It's time for your obscure NHL player of the week. This week we have a gentleman by the name of Mike Greenlay, born in Brazil. Funnily enough, he's a Brazilian-born Canadian former player, former goaltender. Was drafted 189th overall in the 1986 NHL draft. Where he was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. He only played 2 career games, and they were both in the 89-90 season, which, for those playing along at home, our favorite drinking game. What did the Oilers do in 1989-1990?
They won a Stanley
Cup.
They did. No, I'm kidding. they did.
You've done that to me
Hey, you
before.
have
I have.
thrown
Hard.
that at us.
Yeah.
before,
I
so.
have, in fact. Yeah, no. They got the championship in 1990. 2 games that season, 20 minutes in net, 4 goals against. He had a goals against average of 11.75 and
Aye,
yeah,
aye.
0.765 save percentage. Yeah.
But you know what? He played his 20 minutes, so good
he
for
did.
him.
He played his
Yeah.
20 minutes. Fun fact, he
Added
provided
his
color
Colby.
commentary for the Minnesota Wild until 2020 when he was released
Oh.
from his contract.
I thought the name looked familiar, and that explains why it looked familiar.
Yeah.
He did
Well, there you go.
He did, however, lead what year is this? It would be 1993, 1994. He led the postseason goalies in wins, helping the Atlanta Knights win the Turner Cup for the IHL, which is
Okay.
dope.
Nice.
So he's won a championship. But yeah, he retired in '96 from professional play.
Okay.
And it doesn't say what he is doing currently. But yeah, that is
Right
that is our obscure NHL player of the week. Shout out to Mike Greenlay.
Awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Perfection.
Also, first
Wow.
goalie we've done. He didn't have any penalty minutes. This feels weird. I
Which
feel
is a
cheated
shame,
and
honestly.
robbed.
More
It is a
penalties.
shame.
More goalies should have penalty minutes.
I agree.
Not like
I
they
mean-
would serve them, but
Right.
No. How many penalty minutes does Bennington have?
a
I wonder.
lot.
Not that he served any of them.
I
but
actually
wonder.
have. Hold on, we need to find out now.
I'm
Right.
very curious. While you're looking that up, I'm going to let everybody know that Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals starts Saturday, June 3rd, with the potential Game 7 being Monday, June 19th. So you're potentially and realistically stuck with us for another
month.
2 or 3
2 to
weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the following week, the 26th, is when we have draft
Yeah.
and other stuff happening.
Yeah,
Right.
So enjoy that.
indeed.
Right.
By the way,
Also, if you want me to come back for end of season stuff, make sure to let them
when
know
we
in
can
the
tell you
comments.
you're wrong.
Yeah.
and if you guys haven't gotten
Unless
enough,
I'm exactly right.
And then we won't have you back because
Yeah, exactly.
Dave
You
is
won't come back
retiring.
if you're right. Yeah.
Also,
This will be your swan song.
if you guys want to hear my beautiful voice speak more about sports, check out the sports room that we do on our Twitch channel. It's debuting June 19th. So
Whoop, whoop.
you'll look forward to that. And our newest member of LTN, Willie, he's gonna join me with that. Jordan Binnington this season had 19 penalty minutes.
19 penalty
19
minutes.
penalty minutes. Alex
Sounds about right.
Stalock, goaltender for Chicago Blackhawks, had 16. And Jacob Markstrom from Calgary had 14.
Stalock had
Wow.
Yeah,
Also-
Stalock had 16 penalty minutes.
what the fuck was Stalock getting in? I mean,
I don't
clearly
know.
fights and shit, but
Dude, Chicago had a wild season.
they did.
Yeah,
Nobody's
now they get to
surprised by
fucking
that.
reap benefits that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
in
That
the
should
form
be
of
our
Connor
pick.
Bedard.
Connor Bedard
But-
should be wearing a Ducks uniform. I'm still pissed.
But yeah, otherwise, check out all of our other shows and shit. All the info will be down in the description box or info box or whatever the fuck it's called, wherever you're listening to us.
Dave, thank you for
Check
being
out-
here.
Yeah,
By the way, we
thank you
appreciate
for
having you
having
on.
me. Check out Chris at twitch.tv/bald.
Some poor person actually has that URL and it's not Chris, and he's gonna be so confused.
and they're
By
gonna
all
be
these
like,
people trying to
why do I
talk
know all
hockey.
these people, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
you're welcome.
God.
Whoever
Hey,
has
maybe
that
they're a
username.
hockey fan.
Dude,
Maybe.
honestly, that would
I don't
be
know.
amazing.
That would be pretty
Oh,
epic.
shit.
Not gonna lie. But yeah,
Dude,
so
if you
thank
could
guys.
get twitch.tv/bald, you would have people show up just because that's a funny word to put after twitch.tv.
Bald.
Yeah.
Bald. Just, yeah.
Just bald.
There's my new branding. Bald.
There you go.
I mean, we have been helping you develop it now for over a year.
This is fair. This is true. We're all waiting for my new pro wrestling gimmick. I'm gonna re-debut after the first of
Just
the year.
strangle yourself wearing a big ass chain that says Finn Jiff.
Dude, just
and
Polo.
then take off the mask and be just Polo the Weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do what the Weekend did.
When he changed his haircut.
Gotta love it.
It's amazing.
Well.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, on that note.
Thank you guys again for coming and joining us this week and every week. We will be back again next week because that's how scheduling works. Anyway, thanks again. We love you guys. We'll see you next time in the Face Up Circle. We love you.